Hey, I'm Jimmy from jimmyrose.me, and in this video you're going to learn all about the Zapier email parser. Now this is an extremely handy integration to understand with Zapier because it basically allows you to integrate with things that don't even have a Zapier integration, if that makes sense. In short, it essentially just allows you to trigger a workflow, to start a workflow when you receive an email. For example, you might have a contact form on your website and you want to get everyone that fills that form out into a spreadsheet or your CRM. Now, some contact forms have a Zapier integration, like Gravity Forms or Typeform, but some don't, like there's some WordPress plugins, for example, Contact Form 7, where all they really do is send you an email when someone fills it out. But using the Zapier email parser, you can actually catch that email, pull some information out of it, like their name and their email and whatever message they wrote, and start a workflow. So that workflow might put them in your CRM or in a spreadsheet or wherever you want them to go. Now, just a few other random examples. You might want to catch a notification from a WordPress security plugin. For example, I've used WordFence in the past, and when we got a critical security alert, I wanted to put that in our Slack channel. So that kind of thing is possible. Or if you want to create a task in your project management system from a form, for example, as long as the email kind of follows the same format every time, which you'll see shortly. One that I'm working on right now is we have a little feedback widget on our website called Hotjar, and people can put in some feedback about our website. Right now, that just emails me, and I wanted to put that as a feed in our Slack channel. Just one quick note in that I don't go into every little detail of Zapier in this video. There are a lot of bits and pieces that are handy to know with Zapier. And if you are new, you've not really used Zapier before, I'll link up below to my Zapier tutorial video. It's free, of course, here on YouTube. And that will get you started to basically understand how it all fits together. And if you do want to take things to the next level and learn how to use Zapier to automate your business and save hundreds of hours a month, I will also link up to my Zapier Mastery course below, which is a premium course for people that just want to take things to the next level. So let's dig into it. At a basic level, all the Zapier email parser really is an inbox. It has an email address and you send emails to that email address, and then it has some stuff on the back ends that will just read through that email and pull out the bits of information that you need. And I'll run through an example very shortly on this. So let's jump over and have a look at how to set this up. Here I just have a very simple contact form set up using Contact Form 7, which is a WordPress plugin. Don't worry so much about the tools that I'm using here. Just sort of work through the example and you'll see how the actual parser works. So I'm going to go and fill this out. And go ahead and submit that and then show you what this email looks like. So it's arrived here. I'll open that up and see how it just comes in with name and then the name that I put in, email, subject, and message. So it's all nicely laid out, and that's actually set up in the back end of WordPress for Contact Form 7. I'll just quickly show you what that looks like. It's not that necessary for this tutorial, but you can see here we can customize this to put in other fields, or we could say whatever we want instead of name. This is the only bit that really matters here. We'll come back in to edit the email address later, but this is just where we lay out the email that is going to be sent to us from the contact form. Sometimes you'll have control of this, if it's a contact form like this. Sometimes you won't. For example, the feedback tool that we're using called Hotjar, it just sends us emails in whatever format they like. So sometimes you won't be in control, but there's usually a way to work around it. So I'm going to jump over to Zapier now and create a new Zap. And our trigger app is going to be the email parser. And we're going to trigger this workflow when a new email is received. And hit continue. And I'm going to choose my existing email parser account here. If you don't have one, it'll run you through the setup. You'll just click this button here. It's very, very simple. It takes you over to parser.zapier.com and you create an account there. On this step, it actually links us over to parser.zapier.com and we'll head over there shortly. But what this step is asking is which mailbox do you want to trigger this workflow on? So this is literally just like creating inboxes in any other email tool that receive email, and that when they receive an email, that's going to trigger the workflow. But we obviously haven't set up a mailbox for this one yet, so this is just going to show some of my previous ones. So I'm going to click this here, Control click to open in a new tab. That's going to open over there. Log in with my Zapier account. And then we go ahead and create a mailbox. So you can see here, it's already created this email address here, and it's currently waiting for us to send the first email. The problem with this is it's a little bit random, and I'll never know what that actually means. So what I like to do is go back out and edit that one that it's just created and change the address. You still need to have like a bunch of random characters here because this has to be unique across all of Zapier. So if you want to get like a normal word like hello, it's almost definitely taken by someone else. Plus that would be a really bad idea because someone could easily guess that email address. So I'm just going to go ahead and say contact form. So at least I could recognize that in the list. I'm just going to save the address. And now we just need to send an email to that address. So I'm going to copy that one out. Now, one way to do this is to go back into our contact form here, and in the two addresses, we could literally just say comma and paste that in, and then go through and submit that contact form again, and it will go to both addresses. But I thought I'd show you just another quick way. If you already have an email that you want to try it out with in your email, you can just forward it. It makes the initial setup a little bit easier than having to go through and trying to generate emails. It is more of a true test to do it this way, I guess, but it normally works for me this way. So I'm just going to forward that, but just be careful here to delete the extra stuff. Remember when you forward a message, it adds all of this stuff in. So I'm going to delete all of that, just back to exactly the same email we had before. And for recipients, I'm going to paste in that Zapier address and hit send. Then over at Zapier Parser again, I'm going to click this view emails link. And you can see it's received an email now. Here we go. Now we need to teach Zapier how to interpret this email. So I'm going to go to template here. And it's telling me that I need to create one. So I'm going to do that. Now, you actually would have come directly to this screen if I hadn't gone and renamed this earlier. It normally sits there after you create a new mailbox. It'll just sit there waiting for you to send an email, and you can forward that over and it will bring you directly to this screen. I just really prefer renaming the email first so that I can at least recognize it in the list. This is literally just ripped out the entire email that was just sent to this inbox. So it's got the subject line, then the body of the email here. And notice it's all plain text. So it even converts like HTML and designed emails will all come back to plain text like this. I've unfortunately forgot to delete that forward bit there. So I'm just going to delete it here, which is actually fine because this is what it's normally going to look like when it comes from the contact form. But then the training portion is actually really easy. All we have to do is highlight the bits here that we want available in our workflow. So I'm going to just call that name and hit save and see how it replaces it with that little placeholder. And do the same with email, subject, and message. And those are the only bits we care about. Maybe you'd like to know what website it came from. So you could also do this one like that. And you'll see that all of this becomes available in our workflow. Once that's done, I'm just going to hit save address and template and jump back over to the Zap that we were creating. So now we should be able to actually select that inbox that we've created. There it is. Open that one up and continue. Test the trigger and you'll see there is the one we just created. So it actually pulls in the entire body of the email, and hopefully it's done a good job of splitting out our fields. So we've got the email, the message, the name, and the subject. Look at that. Oh, and the website, of course. So now we can just go ahead and create a Zap. Like if I wanted to put this in my project management system, say I'm using ClickUp or Trello. Let's go with Trello just because it's really simple. I could create a card. I'm not going to walk through this process because that's really part of setting up actions, but you can do anything you want here. This could be add the person to a CRM or add the person to a spreadsheet or whatever you like. What I will just show you is how the data becomes available. So I'm just going to go through creating a card really quickly. Choose my account. I won't bother setting up all this stuff yet. I just want to show you that when you click in here, you can now use that parse output to map in the information that was entered in the contact form, right? So you could say, we got a new lead, put a line there and go, the name was there, their message, and there, you know, so you can just go through and build whatever you like. You could send this as a message in Slack, do whatever you want, but all that information is now there for you to use in whatever system you want to put this into. If you want to learn more about how actions work, jump over to my Zapier tutorial video, which you'll find a link to below. But just back over at Parser, there's one thing that's important to note. And that this really requires emails to be the exact same format every single time, right? So if you had something in here and the next time it doesn't say name, it says, I don't know, something else, it's going to break all of this because it doesn't know. It's actually looking for name to be able to map in the name that the person entered. So it does require a consistent format. And it is worth testing again, right? So in this one, we've got a message here that's only one line. So it might be worth just testing if this works again. So I'm going to submit that contact form again. First, I'm going to go ahead and save. So now this is being sent directly to that Zapier email address. I'm going to save that, go back to the contact form and submit it again. And this time I'm going to write multiple lines to see how it works that out. And send that off again. Now we go back to Parser. If we reload that, it should actually show us the second email that's come in. There it is. Okay, so it looks like it's actually worked. It's smart enough to work out that the message was wrapped across 3 lines. So you can see by hovering over it, it's still all showing up message in the tooltip there. So if you notice here that it didn't get the right information, you might just want to try editing it again. So you can go edit extra template and it gives you this screen again. So you could go through and do the same thing, which is kind of just helping train it for different kinds of emails that come in. They still have to follow a very similar format, but it just sort of helps it work in more circumstances. So basically you only need to do that if something is wrong when you come in here and see what it's pulled out. And just one note on how to get the emails into Email Parser. You saw there that we edited that contact form to put the Zapier email directly in there. Sometimes another cool option is literally just using Gmail filters. So just a quick little example, I'm not going to go into how to set up filters, but if I wanted to filter one of these, you can choose the option to go filter messages like this. And you have to come up with the criteria that are going to match that email address. So maybe it has the words playground site in the subject and it came from that email address. You have to search and see how it works. It looks like that's going to work in this scenario. So then you actually create a filter to forward it to your special Zapier address. And that way the messages still come into your inbox, but then they get automatically forwarded as well and can be processed in a workflow in Zapier. That's it for this video. I hope you have learned something about Zapier Email Parser and have been able to work out how to create a cool automation that saves you a bunch of time in your business. It's a really cool tool to understand, Email Parser. So that's it. If you'd like to learn more about Zapier, check out the description. There will be links to my full course. I have a course teaching people how to use Zapier to save like literally hundreds of hours a month in their business, and have some more general tutorials. It'll all be linked up below. Check that out. Otherwise, I've been Jimmy from jimmyrose.me, and I'll see you in the next video.